The Portland City Council has passed a $364 million budget for the next fiscal year.
During last night's meeting, several items in the budget came up for discussion, including funding for the city's family shelter. Our Leanne Stapleton is out in Portland this morning and has some more on that. Hey, Leanne.
Hey, good morning, guys. So before they voted to pass that budget, there was discussion on whether or not to give the family shelter $500,000 in funding. Now, the Director of Health and Human Services, Maggie McLaughlin, told the City Council that while there was a decrease in families seeking help not too long ago, the trend started going back up. She went on to say that right now 19 families are in the shelter, and the $500,000 in funding was proposed and that passed as part of the new city budget. McLaughlin says homelessness looks different for everyone, and not every family looking for help needs to be housed in the shelter.
We're seeing it's related to things like affordability. So these are families that are currently living in a car, or they were couch surfing and that option is no longer available to them. So we do a significant amount of diversion. Many families that present to us never enter into the shelter. But for those that have no safe option alternative, the shelter is where we accept them.
Right now, McLaughlin says the city operates 4 buildings as part of the family shelter, which equals out to about more than 40 units. So in the new budget, when that takes effect, there will be 3 buildings that operate with about 32 units. And again, they'll have that $500,000 in funding. At last night's meeting, Mayor Mark Dion said that it's the city of Portland's responsibility to take on some of that financial burden instead of relying heavily on state and federal funds. Live in Portland this morning, Leanne Stapleton, News Center Maine.
All right, Leanne, thank you. 3 more inmates are joining an ongoing lawsuit against policies that regard transgender inmates at the Maine Correctional Facility in Windham. In a complaint filed against the Department of Corrections, the women claim that they have been forced to live with, quote, transgender identifying male inmates, including convicted murderer Andrea Balser. The inmates say Balser has sexually harassed, threatened, and retaliated against them whenever they've complained. The lawsuit alleges that prison officials ignored their concerns and instead placed some of the women into segregation. The inmates and their lawyer are asking a federal judge to strike down the jail's transgender policy, saying it violates their constitutional rights.
They are women who are serving a sentence for nonviolent crimes, and they're forced to be housed with violent men. And so the goal of the lawsuit is to separate inmates at the Maine Correctional Center on the basis of sex, to get the men out of the women's facility.
The Maine Department of Corrections says it does not comment on pending litigation, but did write in a statement that the department does continue to follow federal and state law when it comes to transgender housing decisions, and it does investigate all allegations of safety concerns. The Department of Corrections also pointed to Maine law, which states that all inmates have the right to have their gender identity respected and acknowledged. Attorneys representing Balser and the Department of Corrections have 60 days to respond with an answer or file for a motion to dismiss the complaint entirely.
All right, I'm going to start with 24-774.
A man from Leeds is expected to be sentenced today for killing a man from Windham. Last month, Joseph Shute was found guilty of murder in the death of Alex Jackson. Prosecutors say Shute owed Jackson money and killed him so he didn't have to pay him back.
Richard Thorpe has been found guilty in the death of his ex-girlfriend, Virginia Cookson. Cookson was found dead back in September of 24 in Bangor. The jury deliberating for about an hour yesterday, and throughout the 5-day trial, the prosecution pointed to multiple pieces of evidence that included a video of Thorpe after their breakup and the fact that Thorpe's DNA was found on the HDMI cord that was discovered wrapped around Cookson's neck.
This was we feel, a very strong case, and so we were just waiting for it to get to the jury, and thankfully they agreed with us and came back with a quick guilty verdict.
There was some pretty compelling evidence presented by the state of guilt, and we did have some issues with regard to the investigation.
The defense said it does plan to file a motion for Thorpe to undergo a psychiatric evaluation before he is sentenced. That sentencing expected to happen on September 1st.
A judge is allowing convicted sex offender Elliot Cutler to have limited access to the internet. Cutler has allegedly violated his probation 4 times since last October, with a 5th allegation dismissed. During a hearing yesterday, the judge ruled that Cutler will be allowed to use the internet on weekdays from 9 to 5 with supervision by his wife or brother. Cutler will also have to alert his probation officer when he's going online, and his internet activity will still be monitored. Judge Patrick Larson explained the decision, citing one of Cutler's alleged violations when police caught him with sexually explicit DVDs.
That incident, to me, seems like he's a desperate man and bought DVDs and a DVD player. Had he wanted to be deceitful, he could have just bought a computer at Walmart and not bought a DVD player. And he could have accessed the internet without anyone knowing it.
This isn't the end of it, however. Judge Larson also approved a motion to allow the state more time to investigate accounts for which Cutler recently provided passwords. Cutler's next probation hearing has not yet been scheduled. In the meantime, he is expected to continue attending court-mandated and private treatment programs.